Hey, this is Marian from WeWorkout. Thank you for watching this video. Today I'm very super happy to interview Juliette. Hi Juliette.
Hi, namaste, Marion.
Thank you for accepting this invitation.
My pleasure.
So yeah, maybe for the people who don't know you, so you've been living in Barcelona for 20 years. 21 years, and then you traveled, and then the pandemia arrived, and then you had to basically go to Brussels, to where now your home base. So it was a very weird transition.
We had a very small apartment in Brussels that was a pied-à-terre, and that's why I ended here. But of course, it was not my plan. I was traveling in Cambodia to do yoga, of course, to receive from my teacher, and also to give. I was doing a prenatal teacher training in English for a foundation that my teacher, Jivamukti teacher Yogeshwari, she's a senior Jivamukti teacher, and she had this nice, beautiful project of bringing yoga to the youth, like orphan and youth who have very low probability to be able to study. So through the yoga, they were able to first be connected with their body, but also to get a very decent income teaching yoga to other people. And it was beautiful to give them a new tool and help them with pregnant, because it's yoga con Gracia. I was teaching Jivamukti yoga, but I was also very well known for teaching prenatal, and I had this training in Spanish. We would translate it in English, and when I was over there, it was just beautiful to see that it resonated to them. So when the pandemic happened, I was just giving this training, and it was suddenly
it was all blown away.
Oh my God, I'm maybe not able to go back to Europe, and so everything was kind of in the Uri, and I arrived in Belgium kind of sad because it was such an amazing experience, and so touching. These women were very involved and learning and enjoying the practice of prenatal, and it was very different yoga for them also, and they were just enjoying to be more in their feminities. It was beautiful. So I was very sad to leave them, and also just to leave them in a country that would be locked down too, because it's very different, and we were really into
in the air, thrown in the air.
Everything was so chaotic. And so being in Belgium was kind of nice, also because I could focus to get to this new step of the online. And I was never think I will be online in my entire life. I'm very, very, very grateful, because not everybody could be online. Not everybody could do is. For me, it's not working. It's a sharing moment. It's being
present,
and it's just it's mostly the way I practice, and I know the student also, so I knew the people who are coming. It's not oh, I do an Instagram video or I do a YouTube video. I knew exactly who was coming to the class, but of course you adapt, and I was in this bubble for months by myself, just trying to understand the technology.
Yeah. And you probably had to adjust quickly, because I think all the businesses that existed physically that are still alive now, it's because they managed to adapt themselves to the online trend very, very quickly. It was a sort of sink or swim situation.
It was not another choice. Because the weird things I always feel I'm sharing, and suddenly it was, oh my God, I have to pay the rent. I'm doing that basically to pay the rent. I want to keep
working
project alive, and so I had moment of conflict, and I was wanting to be in the right space, space in my mind, in my body, to just provide. So it was moment of up and down, and of course it was like 3 months, and I had time with COVID to lose people I love. So I had my up and downs also to grieve, and but Belgium had been a very welcoming place, I will say. It's and I came back to Barcelona. The student, most of them, they were not ready to go back to the space.
No, and it was not very safe, and
And they were all wanting to be away from the city, because the Spanish people, they had been more traumatized than other countries. And now it's the opposite. So the first lockdown, everybody was kind of in the north more relaxed and giving a little bit more freedom, and in the south very strict.
strict, yeah.
And everybody discover or YouTube and start also like to be more active and to start to do sport or Pilates or yoga. And I'm very glad because it helps. It helps for your mental, it helps for your physical, especially when you just like have to stay home. And in this now with this whole year in Belgium, here was more freedom and Belgium was less. Everything was still open in Spain, but even it was open, people were still doing some activities online because they also discover the comfort of doing it in their own terms, not with a schedule, a fixed schedule. It looked like it was this little like need of freedom. I want to do my yoga when it's more convenient for me. Even before, when you were going to a yoga studio, you were picking your schedule. But now it's really, oh, I'm doing my work, and okay, no, I'm doing 15 minutes, or I'm doing 30 minutes, or I'm doing an hour, I have this time. But you manage it your own way. So basically, you have more people doing it like for the videoteca, but you will have people showing up on a direct, like on a streaming, live yoga class.
I personally feel that it's harder for me to stay focused during 1 hour in front of a PC, even if it's online, even if it's live.
Yeah.
So what is your feedback from your students after a year?
Before I was basically giving instruction, working around, adjusting, without adjusting. I just like in Jivamukti we like to touch people, and the students liked it too. They liked this little like, here you can be a little bit better if I just push you on the back and make your back longer. But of course you don't have that. But I adapt the way I teach also to make it safe at home. And I create a playlist, each time different. So I discover, for example, some artists who have Monday, Tuesday, so the week. So at the beginning of the pandemic, it was like, because every day was looking the same, at least they were remembering, okay, today is Tuesday, today is Wednesday. So it was like this little intro to just like, I'm arriving in the mat. So it's always like a little moment of, okay, now it's my moment. And basically being very, very clear in the instruction. And of course investing in some material. The voice is very important. I have to invest in a little camera also, because the computer doesn't give you a wide angle. And for them, no, they liked it. Beginning, they have not another choice. They have no choice. It's this and nothing. If they were wanting to practice with a teacher they were comfortable with, and I'm not looking for, I will say, more students who don't know me. I was like really teaching the one who were showing up, and I know some of them show up on live, but also I know some others who are just using the library video. And it's still like a kind of a community. And for me, making the class very not, it could be a challenge, but not too challenging, to not create more frustration. So you have a playlist, you have that give you a little atmosphere, and it can change all the time. It's a different mood in the morning, but you will like take a class in the afternoon. But some people take the class from the morning and they do it in the afternoon. So for them it was also an adjustment, and it's convenient. So you have some people who basically write to me and say, look, I really prefer like being in the normal, in a real space. Like, I want to go to my normal yoga like it was before. And it's not like it was before. You have to go with the mask, you have to go with your all material. So it's the transportation with all the extra things for you. Before in the studio, we were providing the blankets, the yoga mats, all the little details, the tea,
the bricks.
Yeah, exactly. So no, we don't, and everyone have to have the material. So I'm also thinking about the people who have just the yoga mat and they're at home. We try to not use props because I think it could be frustrating and creating a new need. When finally we just need to have a body and breathe and move, and feel free also in your own space.
But one of the things I like so much about what you do is how you have set a decor, as they say in English, that is exactly what we could find, in the studio at Yoga con Gracia. So, I mean, where do you get this inspiration to have, the wooden floor and the cushions and the plants? And it looks like you have teletransported the studio to your own house.
Because the studio was like my kid and my house also. And I love fabric. And it's just, I didn't have that much choice. We had that space, so it was just what it was. And I had this avocado plant, and I was thinking, okay, a little jungle, a little bit of green we need. And I miss my windows, my wide space, but it's my bubble, my Zoom bubble.
So you teach Jivamukti. On your platform, this is called Jivamukti Inspired.
Of course, because I love that practice, but I also have to be honest. I give 1 hour class, not 1 hour and a half, or even 1 hour and 15. I'm just like squeezing everything in 1 hour. Jivamukti was founded by Sharon Gannon and David Life in the 80s in New York City. It's part of, and it's recognized as part of official yoga method.
Okay.
It's not a style, it's more a method.
Okay.
And I name it also the vegan yoga.
Okay.
Because it bring you, bring you to asana. It could be also an intense asana practice, but also inspire you to study text, inspire you also to meditate, and also one of the first principles of Jivamukti is ahimsa. That is also part of one of the first principles in Hatha Yoga, in yamas and yamas, from the ancient text of the Yoga Sutra. Ahimsa, non-violence or non-harming. And I prefer saying kindness. So kindness to yourself, kindness to others, and all others. So that means we don't want to have any dead animals or anything that exploit them and exploit also the people who have to do this kind of horrible job.
Okay.
We have to be honest. It's just these things not arrive like by magic to our table, and it's not a thing. It was a being. It was a life being. So that's why I went to the Jivamukti, because I was going deeper and deeper and deeper in my practice, and it was more, not so much about the asana, but about like being more liberated from tradition, or like that was not making sense anymore. And as a French who had been raised by, I will say, cheese and milk and being vegan, when someone told me, "Oh, I cannot be vegan, I love cheese so much," like, I'm French and I could make it. And I feel so much happier, because I don't feel any suffering. It's this feeling I'm going to vitality food, like fruit, vegetables, beans. I want to give to my body life. And because I only have one body, so it's also my temple, but I also want to be healthy. That's it. And if I can get to this very selfish, I will say, result, and also bring some happiness in a way, like invest that path, it's perfect. I will feel more happy. So it's just a cycle of joy. And everybody see it as a restriction. For me, it's a way of being more free.
So from a medical perspective, what would you recommend to people who would like to transition to veganism, just to make sure, they avoid deficiencies and problems and being discouraged after 2 weeks? What would be, the most peaceful transition?
The most peaceful transition is, remember that always put vegetables around what you name meat. Always. So eat more of the vegetables, really more of them, and less, and even like it can disappear.
So it's like really reduce until
meat.
Yeah.
You don't really need that. You need more beans, but you need more veggies.
Legumes,
Legumes.
like chickpeas and yeah.
More beans, yeah. And more greens. Basically, more and more greens. You need fiber.
Cereals?
Yeah, not that much. You don't need like to fool yourself with rice, like to compensate. But it's also a moment of transition, and it's so many delicious recipes. It's just amazing.
So where do you find the inspiration? Because I see your
What I have in my fridge.
Nah, but come on. I mean, not everybody.
I love greens, so if I go to the market and I see a lot of greens, oh my god, it would be an amazing salad, and it's just mixed, and that's it. It's just, I can be inspired by people, and I have many books, but at the end of the day, I look what I have in my fridge. If I want to follow a recipe, I always have something that is missing from the recipe. But I'm inspired by what they are doing, and I can be creative.
Okay.
So
the more you practice, the more you want to do it, the more you become creative.
Yeah, and you have an app that I really like and recommend. For example, I love that chef, but he's raw. So it's a little bit sometimes more difficult for people who want to be vegan to go to the raw. But I love him. He's the spiritual chef. So it's in Spanish. I also have an app for the cake, because this winter I bake a lot. I did a lot of pastry without flour and without sugar.
Without eggs?
And without eggs.
That's the most
and it was delicious.
Well,
I did brownies with sweet potatoes.
Okay, yes, I heard about that.
And I did also banana oat cookies. I did also apple cake. So I was following an app that is really, really inexpensive, Deliciously Ella.
Yes.
This girl had been translated in every language, and she's sweet. The app is really very cheap and so complete. She's so complete that she even have yoga class on it with teacher I know, and also she have a podcast. So she's really giving a lot of information. She's very generous. She's very inspiring.
Moving to the last question, I love your style, your fitness style, which is actually a non-fitness style. And I was wondering, how did you come up with this style? And maybe you can give some brands that you wear and why you love them so much. And
before I was wearing more loose clothes, and because of the online, and we have to understand where the legs are and the arms are, and you have a microphone. You also need to be more having
bodycon.
Yeah, exactly. Like having like a t-shirt that is closest to you, and not always. I will like a t-shirt that will like fall into your ears.
Yeah,
so I have two different. I have short t-shirt. I get into the legging, and I know I can stretch my arms and they're not so they are kind of trapped. And also I start to use bodies.
Yeah.
And I was kind of looking for bodies that like
overall bodies.
Yeah, overall body.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit better than just like black. And I found Petit Bateau.
Oh yes.
I was like, oh my god, I ran from my childhood.
Yeah.
Do that, so I'm doing Petit Bateau.
I went to the website. Like, I don't need more than that.
and my secret, because we're on pandemic, and it was no shopping, but I found it secondhand.
Okay.
So I had Vinted.
Petit Bateau Vinted.
Vinted. €5 t-shirt, legging,
the bodycon.
Body.
Yeah.
And I also had some Uniqlo because it's cold, so it's like kind of.
It keeps your body warm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had tried many different leggings. When I come back from Cambodia, I have two leggings. And after many years of not wanting to have that brand, I didn't like that brand.
Their philosophy
of that brand. 6 months before I went to Cambodia, I got a Lululemon black legging. Everybody was telling me, you will see when you have that, it's the best, you will love them. But I didn't really like the brand, their philosophy. I was looking for cotton. They didn't have cotton. And so I had that legging, and I had another one my husband offered me. So I had one that was so easy to wash. When I was in Cambodia, I could have two only. And so I was traveling very, very, very light. So I did the whole pandemic with two leggings, black leggings. And they were impeccable. They didn't get bad. They still wear them. So never say never. So the black one or this one, and I discovered also you need to also have color leggings to contrast a little bit. So I invest in two others, like a gray one and a pink one. But I just try to alternate, and it's true they are very comfortable.
They fit super well
because I'm very detail oriented, but when I bought a very cheap legging we'll name them, like it could be Oisho, the stitching inside just like you, and it's not well made. Yes, it's a legging. From the outside you see a legging, but it's not well made.
I
so
understand.
It stretch and it could like tear.
Direct practice.
It's not. It's just okay. It's just that's it. And I don't go out. We are really so my new outfit. It's more fitting, like you can see the body, the movement.
Yeah, it's your signature.
No, it looked like it's my signature, but it was more about a necessity, and I was not wanting to have, I will say, the total look of a sport person, because I'm not. I'm definitely not a sport person. I don't even understand how I can get into yoga and practice every day, because I was not liking sport.
But you just proved it wrong, so yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good message for people. Thank you very much, Juliette, for sharing everything and opening yourself so much. And I very appreciate.
Yes. The wind is coming.
I appreciate so much that you can open yourself and share yourself without any filter. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you for giving me a chance to express it.
You're welcome. I'll see you on the mat.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye-bye. Bye.